what was something that everybody hyped up for you that wasn't really worth it in your opinion?
Adulting. It's trash. Would not recommend. Half of a star. Adulthood is the worst hood I've ever lived in.
On today's episode, I want to talk about adulting because I feel like I've been played. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I feel like I've been conned. And now that I have seen the light, I don't know how to feel. What I thought the world was going to be like, or what life was like, or what adulting was like is not what it is. For some reason, I don't know why. I always thought, like, when you grew up, you somehow, like, when you reach an age, just life made sense. I don't know why I thought that, but it was like somehow, like, people that were older than me were in on some secrets that I, as a kid, was not privy to that party. But when I reached like 18, maybe 21, we gonna be invited to the club. You know what I mean? But in reality, like, you realize when you reach those ages that, like, nothing has changed. Like, there are no secrets. You know what I mean? And you realize, like, adulthood is just the hood. Like, I don't know what more to say. Like, it's not cute. Like, all the fantasy you have about it, like traveling with your friends, going out, eating out all the time, buying whatever you want, like, all of that come at a price, and depending where you live, that price is very steep. To realize that, like, my expectations lied to me, or like I was completely wrong. There's a part of me that's just like, one, really pissed off, and there's another part that's just like confused as shit. And I feel like adulting is just one of those things that I don't know if it's just me, but like, this is not the image of adulting that I thought. Like, I really did not think that adulthood was like working like all the time. I swear, I just didn't think adulthood would be this trash, bro. And it's interesting because, like, I really felt like I was so proud about the idea of growing up. Like, I was so ready for it. Like, I would ask to grow up because I felt like there was some freedom that I wasn't missing out on, that I somehow really needed to have. And the entire time, you know, every time I reflect now, all I can hear is my mom's voice echoing, "Harsha, enjoy your young life." And I'm like, damn, she was right. I just had no, like, it's funny because as much as I was aware, like, obviously adults work and adults do things, like, for me, I just always, like, thought that growing up was something different. Like, the reason I wanted to grow up, and I feel like hopefully most people would agree, is like, I thought, you know, when I was growing up, I was really just getting the freedom to do whatever the hell I wanted, you know, and not necessarily have to be under my parents' control. Like, I think that's what it was. Like, I wanted freedom of just to be able to just do what I wanted to do, and not necessarily having to, like, have a bedtime, just to just do what I wanted to do. But it's interesting, and, like, I wanted to have the time to really dictate my day and, like, be with my friends and to just do whatever. And when you think about freedom, you don't, as a child, I think, ever really think about the cost of things. You're kind of just like, yeah, I want this. But for some reason, like, I didn't think that I would have to work every day. Like, for some reason in my mind, like, I didn't factor in the me needing to work every day. Like, I just thought that was everybody else did that, but I didn't put that on me. Like, I didn't think that that was how I would be spending my days, you know. I was just like, oh yeah, like, that's what they do, but I never thought I would be doing it. I played myself. It's crazy because I feel like I wish that I understood kind of things as I do now, because I feel like if I did, I would have completely, like, prioritized my life entirely differently, just if I had the right understanding of what adulthood actually was, and, like, what it takes to actually get to the goal that I thought was the freedom of adulthood that we all, I think, want when we think about growing up, is just to grow up and be able to do whatever. And, you know, again, it's not like it wasn't obvious the adults had stuff they didn't want to do. Like, that's all they ever complained about. But as a kid, I don't know, I was not paying attention to that. Like, and again, like, they were signs, you know, my parents work, but for some reason it didn't click. I think, like, as I grow up, or at least at my age, I can look back on my life, and I feel like for the first time I like have a like genuine appreciation for like how my parents parented me and just like the circumstances of how I grew up. But for the price of what it is, like, adulthood comes with so many other responsibilities you never really think about when you're a kid, like learning to feed myself, booking my own appointments, cleaning, like not just like washing the dishes, but like cleaning the dishwasher. I love good food. Look, my taste buds are bougie. I have been blessed growing up on an island where they cook the food of the gods. And now my taste buds are bougie. I have been spoiled when it comes to good food. Kroger does not have the same inventory as Grand Marché used to have, okay? It's a different culture and expectation of eating, and I do not have the culinary skills to maintain this high standard of taste buds, okay? I do not have the skills. I can't wait for the day, I swear, that I can afford a chef. Oh my god, I will be in heaven, I think. Because yeah, this I don't know. And like, even when you try to like look up like meals on YouTube or whatever, I don't know what these people be eating, but like, seriously, hell to the no. Like, I don't know. I think maybe it's cultural differences, but I don't really see channels that make food that's like, one, reasonable, and two, actually taste good. Like, I don't know that there's people out there that actually eat Brussels sprouts. Like, wow. I don't know if that just means I'm a picky eater. I like what I like, and I know what I like tastes good. So, you know, don't get me wrong. I can whip it up. I can definitely, you know, cook a meal that's delicious, that is plentiful. But the thing is, like, I have this issue where it's called boredom, and it tends to sprout out of repetition. And it seems to feel like anytime I eat something maybe more than 4 times in a row, that I should probably not want it again. And like, anytime I meal prep, like, there's always food that like nobody wants. And I hate to throw away food. Like, that really just makes me heartbroken because I care about waste. And then the thing is to make a diverse array. Like, the food that I want, I cannot make, okay? Like, straight up, like, the food I want is from St. Martin, is very specific. I know the restaurant. I know what exactly off the menu I want. I cannot whip that up in my little apartment, okay? I wish I had those skills, but I did not go to school for that. My island spoiled me. I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, it is rough out here in these streets. Like, you don't understand the struggle of not eating a chicken patty for like 5 years. When my taste buds tasted a curry chicken patty for the first time, I swear I shed a tear. But learning to feed myself is a struggle. I give credit to my parents, bro. They have me well fed 4 times a day, different meals every day. Like, my mama was whipping it up. And now I cannot maintain the standard. Like, the bar has been set too high. I do not want to do the amount of dishes required to cook the meals needed to sustain me. I swear I hate, bro. I don't understand the whole point of a dishwasher if you have to wash the dishes before you put them in the dishwasher. Like, what is the point then? Like, just wash them and dry them. Like, why even put them in the dishwasher, you know? And the fact that, like, I don't know, man. I don't even feel like the dishwasher really does anything. Like, and then you have to clean the dishwasher. Like, I don't know, bro. I feel like mine doesn't work. Like, it's rough. I don't understand. Like, I'm really sick of it. But I swear, other than that, like, cleaning on a whole is not too terrible. It does suck. It sucks in its repetition. I will say I do have like one of those robo vacuums, and that little man's be hella confused, but does get the job done. And I can truly appreciate me not having to vacuum because I don't want to do it. Like I don't. And I cannot wait for them to invent a laundry folding robot, because I can put it in the washer, I can put it in the dryer, but nobody want to fold that. Like, I don't know if I'm the only human that be having a mountain of clean clothes that just never been folded. But I'm trying to do better, I will say. But like, it was bad at one point where like it's just too much. Like, it's too much. It's too much. Luckily, there are good podcasts to help pass the time, and that does help. But again, never ending. And it's just like, dang, like, but I will say adulting did have its perks. Learning to drive and getting my driver's license felt like a flex. Like, I feel like that is a flex. Like, everybody can appreciate getting your license. Like, you can swerve down the street, and yeah, there's like no feeling like it. As much as, trust me, I don't drive nowhere, like, I still like that I have my driver's license. Like, I can go if I really desire to, which is no, but I could, you know what I mean? And I will say, I think my biggest triumph of this year, truly, for adulthood, is being able to latch that damn gas nozzle so that it can continue to like flow itself, you know what I mean? So you could like go sit inside. I personally don't like the smell of the gas. I know there's people out there that love the smell. Y'all weird, but I sit in my car and do not inhale the poison. But yeah, that was like my greatest accomplishment. You have no idea how many times I have tried to latch that thing and it wouldn't work. And I have to stand there like a dummy in the cold holding this damn gas nozzle, watching Grandpa do his automatic and me just staring there in envy. Like, what the hell is he doing that I don't know? But eventually, I figured it out. And I can tell you, I will never, never stand outside there again, because I have reached a new level of adulthood. Like, I swear, like, that is not a hyped up moment. And not, somebody need to make a TikTok of that. Like, people need these real life skills, okay? Because some of us don't know. Like, I swear. But I honestly feel like the real flex has been able to reverse park without a camera. I be feeling like the baddest person on the planet when I reverse park into a spot smooth as hell. Like, I be feeling like a whole G. Like, nobody could talk to me bad that day. Like, I swear. But parking under stress is a whole nother situation. Like, that is like, I might swear a few times in my car, just like, no, why are you here? Like, now I feel anxious. But yeah, adulthood is just I just feel like there's parts of it that just don't make sense. Like insurance, I don't get it. Like, why do we need it? Like, I get it, it's in the event of an accident, but I feel like why can't we make a system so that when I'm in an accident that is actually affordable, instead of me having to pay this infinite lifelong fee just to be able to transport myself from point A to point B. Like, I low-key look forward to autonomous vehicles in the sense that maybe they can make it so I never have to own a car again and I don't have to incur that insurance at all. Like, that would be fantastic. But I don't know. Will we get there? Will we not get there? Engineers, let us know what is up, And the other thing is, like, taxes, bro. Taxes, the game of taxes. That is what they should be teaching in school. That is important knowledge. And yet, it's the only thing that is like the most elusive thing on the planet. Like, it's so much work to figure out how does this shit of taxes work, because it is hella confusing. And to realize like how rich people actually stay wealthy, like, is a whole different ballgame that people not even ready to talk about. Like, people are so unaware. And for me, I'm just like, wow, like I am shooketh. My whole knowledge around money is shooketh. I feel like I have just been conned this whole lifetime of mine, and I'm only now like realizing the truth of like the reality of how this world actually operates. And I'm just like, wow, wow. People, invest your monies please in assets, okay? Like do it, because this is the true wealth generator, okay? Like salaries are not gonna get you where you need to be, okay? People like to say just make more money. Making more money not just gonna fix your problems, okay? You need to get assets are the key. But again, adulthood, like you have to learn it yourself, and that's like the painful part. Like you gotta go and read the book or listen to the pod or watch it, I don't know, but you gotta do the work, and that requires effort and energy, you know what I mean? And I feel like what I love most about being a kid was really just the lack of expectation. Like you were a kid, like nobody really, like you were a kid, you know what I mean? Like you could be weird and like people wouldn't care too much because you were a kid, like you could get away with a lot more stuff as a kid. Now if you do weird stuff, people think you're a psycho and move to the other side of the street, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like, I don't know, as like people get older, it's like they become more fake. I don't understand it. I'm like, why would you, is it the anxiety? I don't understand. What happened to authenticity? And I don't know, I just feel like as you get older there's more that's like expected of you, and I don't know if it's like true expectations or like expectations we set on ourselves as a society, which is ridiculous. And it's like, I don't know. I felt like, when you're a kid, you grow up, you go through all these different grades, and you finally think like, okay, you're the top kingpin, just to go to the next grade level and be right back at the bottom. Like I thought once I was done with college, like that would be the end of it. And it turns out like that's just it for the rest of life. It's just climbing different ladders. And like that rat race to me makes like no sense. Like it's just absolutely silly, because I feel like it's like this constant having to prove your worth, and it's like, well, don't you know your worth? Like why? It's like, I wish, like I understand the need to have to prove your greatness, but it's like, if you know you're great, like why do you always have to prove it? Like why not just be given an opportunity? But whatever. And I just like, I feel like I realize like a lot of these expectations and all of that are root of suffering. They're root of deception. And you have to realize like any expectation, like even the ones that you set of yourself, like these are all made up in your head. You know what I mean? You don't have to be that person that you'd say you have to be. Like you can change that. And for me, I realized that really through practicing patience, because it took time to really get to that place, to realize like what was it that I admired about my childhood that I felt like was missing as I grew up. And it was like having these expectations of myself that nobody needed to set them. Like nobody expects anything, you know what I mean? It was just what I told myself. And now it's just chill. It's so much easier to just be yourself and create without the added pressure of expectations. What I realized, like, was what I really saw as a kid was on some level the freedom to just express myself. But really, I just wanted the freedom to exist and to create, and I thought that that's what adulthood brought, but I forgot that a large part of that is driven by money. And that really changed. It changed my mindset around what was really the most important thing to shoot for to get to that life. And for me, like my number one goal is like financial freedom now, because I realize like me thinking growing up was going to be like unlocking some game level like in Mario, and I was going to gain some skills and somehow just have the answers to the universe. Yeah, that did not happen. Like, that did not, nope, like, did not. Sorry to tell you, we are all confused still. Like, and I just realized, like, most of these people that are adults are just older versions of kids that are still confused. Like, because emotional development is a huge part of growing up. And I think most people, because of one reason or another, have had trauma that has, stagnated their emotional development. And a part of adulting, I think, can be trying to address that. But I don't know. It's hard because I feel like we're like so consumed in working for money, right? And then you go and you buy stuff, and now you have to work to pay off the debt that you incurred from buying all that stuff. And it just sounds like a lot of cycling of just this working, but not really like living, and like that is what concerns me. Like, I feel like as an adult, like, I felt like I would have more time to really just like live a life, clear focus on my goals, and to ride this adulthood wave in a way that actually makes me feel like fulfilled. And for me, I realized, I did want to grow up, but what I really, really, really want is financial freedom. Like, I want that more than anything, because I feel like financial freedom allows you to really just have passive income that allows you to sustain your lifestyle, allows you to build a retirement, build wealth generating assets that allow you to not only build wealth in the present, but give your family something that can continue to build wealth. And I think like that's super important. I think, that's really the advantage that the wealthy have, or like the rich people, yeah, wealthy, like super wealthy people have, is because they have assets that generate significant amount of wealth that they can use, and they can tap into that equity. But again, like, I didn't know that when I was really just wanting to grow up. Like, I didn't know anything about equity. I didn't care about these words, like, but they are super important in understanding, like, how do you actually go about manifesting the life that you really, really want. And adulthood for me, I realized, like, I went from being like super upset at just like, or really like disappointed with just what adulthood was, and for, a while I was just like kind of just bummed, because I was like, well, wow, like, I feel like I see like how so many people like have their dreams crushed, or like how so many people give up, or like I understand that because I can see how the mundaneness of like just the grind can really wipe you out, and why you just want to come home and just watch TV and not really, care about anything else or learn another skill. I can understand why that would be super exhausting. And it took me a while to just sit with my own anger and my own disappointment and really just understand, like, what was it that was wrong. And it really was my expectations. Like, I realized then that, yeah, I was the one that was looking at adulthood like it was trash, but it was really an opportunity, and I had to shift my perspective. And now I turn it into kind of this phase of unlearning and relearning, where the power to create my ideal reality entirely lies within me. And, now that I have that, I can be more clear on what my goals are. And even if they're big goals, even if they're scary goals, which I believe, like, trust me, I feel like I don't have anything figured out, like, every day. This is what I think. But obviously, I have semi-plan, and I have some steps to move towards that I know if I do these steps will get me closer to that goal. And I just keep doing that. And in this like phase of unlearning and relearning, it can be really, like, I think, like, exhausting to some extent, because like you have to really reshape the way that you think and like really reflect on the things that trigger you and try to learn from them, which can be really difficult because you're trying to just survive, and also you're trying to be your best self, and you're trying to do that while also maintaining some way of, yeah, like, having a life, and I've always had this expectation that, like, as an adult, like, someone would notice me and like mentor me and help me, and like they would just help me, get to the riches that I want. But I realized, like, instead of me having this expectation that the world is supposed to give me something, like, I have to be that person that I wish I had, and, you know, seek out guidance through maybe books or like podcasts or research online where I could go and find the answers that I seeked, instead of just waiting for like, oh, like someone ought to help me. And it's like, no, like you have to help yourself. Like like, you know, kind of like reality check myself and get to the root of like what it was that was holding me back from getting to where I needed to be, or to have the understanding that I have now. And as much as, yes, sometimes I do still think like adulting is trash. I think it sucks. I hate cleaning sometimes. I'm just over it. I hate like, oh, I can't wait to be able to like not have to do it anymore. But I just like, I think it's a part of the grind, you know, and like I learned more than anything that I still need to practice patience, which low key like was another thing that really ticked me off, because I thought like, you know, you go through all this school, you go through all of this, and you like expect that by the time you're done, like the world will take you seriously. And then you finish and you realize the world doesn't care. You know what I mean? Not like in a rude way, but like in reality, like nobody cares. Like you're still, again, at the bottom of the barrel and you have to climb your way back to the top. And it's kind of like, I was over it. I was like, I'm not trying to climb any more ladders. Like, I'm really just not. Like, I did all of that. Like, I don't need to climb any more ladders to prove anything. I know my worth, you know? Like, you're either going to see it or you're not going to see it. And if you don't see it, I can't help you with that. I know it. Like, and it changed, like, my perspective, because instead of me being mad at the world for not seeing results that I wanted, I had to realize, like, well, just, like, go and get it. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, why do you expect the world to give it to you? You got to work for it. And there are ways to get it if you are willing to go look and ask the right questions. And, you know, it takes time, I realize. And so that is why I feel like understood the value of patience. When while I was practicing patience and reflecting on the things that were triggering me, the things that were making me upset about growing up, that I did not like, that really brought me like frustration. When I practiced patience and gave it room to sit with me, and I talked, with people close to me about what it was that was on my mind, I realized that my expectations were the thing that was flawed. And because my expectations of adulthood didn't match up to reality, I was angry for a while, because I was thinking, like, why wasn't life going in the way that I thought it should? And that was because I had these certain expectations about what growing up meant and what was going to be on that other side. And that is just it didn't match up with the reality. And that sucked. It really, really sucked. And it was hard, because it was hard to let go of that idea of what I hoped it would be, and realize that I couldn't change that, and that it was powerful in and of itself that I could change my perspective now, because now I could be empowered to actually go after what it was that was important to me. And I realized then, like, adulthood had turned into this phase of my life of unlearning and relearning, where the power to create, like, my ideal reality lies within me. And I always found, like, this to be a really interesting revelation, because it empowered me to just go about creating the life that I thought I deserved, but doing it in a way that prioritized my goals to sustain that life. And so it gave added clarity around why I was doing the things that I was currently doing, and how that fitted into the larger vision of who I always wanted to be, and what kinds of decisions I need to make to get there. It makes it a much more clear path, because now I no longer have to focus on all the distractions of things that were making me miserable, and focusing on the things that I couldn't change. Now I could focus on exactly what it was that was important to me, without worrying about the things that I wanted to change but couldn't. And that was, incredible. Absolutely incredible. And for me, like, I'm still, I think, very early in the adulthood journey, but it's like having this transition from youth, I don't know, youngin mindset. I don't know, kid. I don't know. From a younger mindset to maybe a wiser mindset. It's been painful. It has been, it's so exhausting. Like, I'm over the adulting. I just wish to be at the goal. But it's like, I understand the frustration, the pain. This is all a part of it, right? And using the things that annoy me as guidance as to what it is that I should be working to improve. And that's just a completely different way of thinking for me. And so it's been interesting to just trying to adapt to this new understanding of self and moving in the world, feeling more empowered to be just me. Now, like, for me, like, adulthood is like this opportunity to really like become a whole new version of myself. You know, every day I am the writer in my own story. And it's beautiful because I feel like that is super empowering. Instead of feeling like, oh, I'm trapped. I now feel like I'm in the driver's seat of my life. And like, I can really dictate what it is I want to spend my time on. How do I get my work done? You know what I mean? And really being able to express myself because I believe 100%. You know, now I look back at my young self who used to look up at adults and be like, yeah, they 100% know everything. And, you know, you become one of those tall giants and you realize like, wow, like, but I feel like even that, to understand like how expectations can lead you down a path to pretty much suffering. I think that in and of itself is a beautiful lesson to learn in life. And the fact that I learned it now, I know I don't know if I'll be able to never have expectations, because it's hard to not, I think, have like expectations about certain things. But I will always moderate my expectations and try not to have attachment to them, because clearly they leave me conned on the side of the road, just pissed at life. And life is beautiful and life is great, and there's a lot to value of adulthood, and there's a lot that you can be, there's a lot that you can express yourself. You can use the money you work for to buy things and to move your life in a specific direction, and that is powerful, and that should be also recognized. And there's ways to figure out how to get the life that you want. You know, it's just about asking the right questions, and hopefully the universe is listening. So with that, I will end it with, you know, adulting is rough. It definitely, it totally has its ups and its downs, and every day you might feel like quitting. But I promise you, if you keep on pushing through, it'll be worth it. I think in a lot of ways, like, life is probably the most amazing gift that we have. And as much as it's painful, because it 100% is painful as hell, I think it is a beautiful experience. It's unlike any other. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Chatterbox. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to show your support by subscribing to this podcast and leaving us a review. Follow us on Instagram at the.chatterbox for teasers and updates.